Let no man judge you. What does Paul mean by this? It's found in Colossians 2:16 and 17, which says, Let no man therefore judge you in meat or in drink, or in respect of an holy day, or of the new moon, or of the Sabbath days, which are a shadow of things to come. Paul is here speaking about meat and drink offerings, as well as certain ceremonial holy days, new moons, and Sabbath days. These were a shadow of things to come. They pointed forward to a particular event, and by reading a few verses prior to this, the context of what Paul is talking about becomes clear. Verse 14 is the key, which tells us Paul is speaking about the meat and drink offerings, holy days, new moons, and Sabbath days that were part of the handwriting of ordinances and were nailed to Jesus' cross when he died. Why? Because Jesus' death was the event the handwriting of ordinances pointed to, and Jesus' death put an end to them by ending the sacrificial system. Take note, these shadowy Sabbaths tied to the sacrificial system are not the weekly Sabbath of the moral law. They are described in Leviticus 23:24 through 38. These were yearly Sabbaths which fell on certain set days of the month, a different day of the week each year. God said those days were to be observed as a Sabbath, because those days were set aside for a special purpose. Observe how these Sabbaths are distinguished from the weekly Sabbath. Leviticus 23:37 through 38 says, These are the feasts of the Lord, which you shall proclaim to be holy convocations, to offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord, a burnt offering and a meat offering, a sacrifice and drink offering, everything upon his day, beside the Sabbaths of the Lord. Also remember, the seventh-day Sabbath was given at creation before sin entered into the world through Adam and Eve. Thus, the weekly Sabbath of the moral law had nothing to do with sin or sin offerings, as did the ceremonial Sabbaths, which were tied to the meat and drink offerings of the handwriting of ordinances. Now, Colossians 2 is clear. Paul is saying when it comes to the meat and drink offerings, holy days, new moons, and the Sabbath days which were part of the sacrificial system, that the Christian today should not be judged by any man for not keeping them, because they were nailed to the cross. But the weekly Sabbath of God's holy moral law was not affected by the blotting out of ordinances. We know this because Paul says in Hebrews chapter 4, 1 through 11, that the seventh-day Sabbath still remains as God's holy day for Christians to observe today. May God bless you and walk with you as you surrender your life to Him and follow Jesus in all you do.